So I want to find the tangent line at x equals 0 for the function 10x times hyperbolic secant of x over 4 plus 5. First, we're going to find the point. So we said it's going to be at x equals 0. So we're going to plug in x equals 0 into our function. So the only issue here is finding the hyperbolic secant of 0. So recall that the hyperbolic secant of x is 2 over e to the negative x plus e to the x. I'm going to plug in 0, so it's really 2 over e to the 0 plus e to the 0, which is 2 over 2, and that's just 1. So that part is 1, and then we want to have 10 times 0 times 1, so that's going to be 0. And then we're going to add 5 at the end. So our point is going to be 0, 5. Okay, now let's find the slope. In order to find the slope, we have to take the derivative. But recall, the derivative of the hyperbolic secant function is negative hyperbolic secant times hyperbolic tangent. So in order to find the derivative, I need to use the product rule and the chain rule. So I'm going to treat this as two different functions. Think of it as 10x and hyperbolic secant of x over 4. First thing I'm going to do is take the derivative of 10x, which is just 10, and then multiply that by hyperbolic secant of x over 4. Next, I'm going to take the derivative of hyperbolic secant of x over 4. There I have to use a chain rule. So I'm going to take the derivative of the outside function, which is hyperbolic secant. And we said that's just negative hyperbolic secant times hyperbolic tangent. I'm going to plug in x over 4 in for x. And then I'm going to take the derivative of the inside. So find the derivative of x over 4, which is 1/4. And then by product rule, I also have to multiply by 10x. And then the derivative of 5 is just 0. Okay, so that's my derivative. It's kind of sloppy here, so let's factor it out. So I'm going to choose to factor out a hyperbolic secant of x over 4 and then a negative 5 over 2. And the reason I did a 5 over 2 is because at the end there it's 10x over 4, which simplifies to 5 over 2. I factor it out nicely. I have negative 5 over 2 hyperbolic secant of x over 4 multiplied by the quantity x times hyperbolic tangent of x over 4 minus 4. In order to find the slope, I have to plug in x equals 0. So for everywhere I see x, I want to plug in 0. So hyperbolic secant we talked about in the previous slide, that's just going to be 1. So hyperbolic secant of 0 is just 1. But for hyperbolic tangent, that's e to the x minus e to the negative x over e to the x plus e to the negative x. And now if I were to plug in 0 into that, I would just get 0. Okay. So turns out that the derivative is negative 5/2 times 1 from the hyperbolic secant, and then multiply that by 0 times 0, and then minus 4. So simplifying it, we get 10. Okay, so the slope is 10. Now let's put it all together. The point is 0, 5. The slope is 10. So we want to come up with a tangent line. Notice the point is actually the y-intercept. So you have a slope of 10, y-intercept of 5. Use a slope-intercept form to get y equals 10x plus 5. And that is our final answer.